Hey guys, what's up and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about palette of the week. Normally when I record this in the future, I'll just have one palette every week, but I've actually done 3 weeks of the palette of the week on my Instagram already without doing any review or follow-up on those. So if that sounds interesting to you, then just keep on watching. So the first palette of the week that I did, what I do is each week I either have you guys vote or I've picked a few times if I didn't get enough votes. If you don't follow me on Instagram already, check me out at JourneyInBeauty, all one word on Instagram. And my very first palette of the week was the Lorac MEGA Pro 2. And I love this formula already. So this was the first palette of the week, and this is what she looks like. You can see I've made a noticeable dent, and you also would have seen the same palette on my Project Pan 2018. I'm hoping to hit pan on at least 4 to 6 of these shades, and I don't think it should be any problem whatsoever. The cool thing about the Mega Pro palettes is these top 2 rows here are all matte. And the bottom 2 rows, and this is the same on all of their Mega Pro palettes, but the bottom 2 rows are shimmers or metallic, whatever you want to call them, satin. I think there's varying levels of shimmer in these, but I do love this formula so much. So I challenge myself each week on Instagram to go ahead and create 4 to 6 looks using the same palette, which is kind of fun and interesting. So I definitely was able to do that. I'm not for sure what this video is going to look like in the end in terms of editing, but I will insert pictures of the different looks that I created. And then if you're curious about the shades that I used in each look, you can go check me out on Instagram because I do list the shades that I used in each look. Now I don't have it here sitting beside me, but one thing I will disclaim about my palette of the week videos and post on Instagram is that I do reserve the right to use a basic palette, which for me is the Tarte Clay Play 1. To use in conjunction with palettes, not like this one, but a couple that I'll show you here in a minute, that may or may not have a shade to set my primer or a transition shade, that kind of thing. I do get the entirety of the look out of the palette of the week, but in some palettes there aren't any matte shades at all, or there isn't a light enough shade to set my primer down with, or for a brow bone highlight, that kind of thing. So this was my first palette of the week. I feel like I really got some good use out of this and definitely found some favorite shades in here. I love these orangey shades up here. The lighter is called Melon and the darker orange is called Tangerine. I love these shades. They're beautiful, especially for a matte shade. I'm definitely a shimmer girl. I love shimmer. But another couple of stars of the matte colors are here. This pink one here in Sorbet, I guess it's more of a rose color. And then this berry tone called Goji. These are fantastic, especially for building different kinds of looks. These oranges were great for making a warmer look, and these here for a little bit of a cooler look. But I feel like I definitely dipped my brush into most of these. And I also like that we have something from light to dark in this palette. These guys over here are really gorgeous. I love this forest green, which is called Forest. And some of my favorite shades from the shimmers, I love this shade right here called Soft Plum, which is exactly what it is. I'll give you a little close-up of that one. It's gorgeous for all over the lid. And then a couple of other standouts. I know Emily Noel, when she talked about this palette, talked about this shade right here, which is Penny. Let me give you a swatch. Just look at that. Their shade, or their shadow formula is so buttery and creamy. You barely have to tap your brush in, and oh, the color payout is just really fantastic. And then I think a unique shade, which I accidentally gouged my nail into, is this shade right here called Peony, and it's like a peachy warm shimmer shade. Let's give it a swatch here. And again, you can see the shimmer shades are just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. A couple of my favorites, I love this one right here called Sandstone. It's a cool taupe shimmer shade. And Prosecco, I think, is a very similar dupe to the shade called Luscious in the Sweet Peach palette. And it's great for a brow bone highlight, it's great for a lid highlight, and it's also great for an inner corner highlight. Highlight. And so yeah, these guys, all these work great for the brow bone. It's just a beautiful palette. I could not say enough good things about it. So check out their Lorac Pro formula. I think they're all good. I think the only difference between the different years, which ones you can still get. I got this one at Kohl's, which is where I've gotten both of my Lorac palettes from. Excuse me. I think the only difference between them is just the shades that come in. So I think you can go into buying one of these bigger palettes like this knowing that the formula is good, and just pick one based on the shades that work best for your skin tone, what you're most interested in. Some of them are more neutral. This one certainly has colors as well as neutrals. The newest, the Lorac MEGA Pro 4, which has been on sale at Ulta for a long time now, has some beautiful pastel colors and just more pops of color in it and in general. So I don't think you could go wrong with this palette, and I will be using it a lot this year. So second is one that you would have seen in my video on Monday, which was my birthday haul. It's from Urban Decay. And again, Tiffany Dawn here on YouTube made me buy this palette. This is the Urban Decay Distortion palette, and I got it at Sephora. I do believe they also sell it at Ulta. And I did maybe 4 or 5 looks with this palette. I don't always get 5 looks in a week done. Most of my makeup is brand new, and sometimes I just want to use something else. But also, you know, I'm a mama, and I have to get off to things like dance and clean and things like that. So I don't always get to use these as much as I want in the week that I'm featuring this palette. But this one is amazing. They are arranged in trios from top to bottom. So they go like this, but you can totally mix it up any way you want. And I think this row right here has a lot of the neutral shades, the middle row being your pops of color, and this bottom row, or the top row when it's actually upright, is what they call the shade shifting or transformer colors. And that's the selling point right there. What they are these iridescent shades. Let's see if it will show up here for us. Yeah, there you go. They have a unique shift to them, and they're almost holographic, or definitely duochrome. This here is pink. This one's a purplish shade. This one's blue. This one has a green shade, and then this one here, which I love, is called Bleach, and it has a yellow-orange shift to it. But again, like I said, you could totally mix this up. Like this bleach shade with the yellow shift would look really cool over this dark green shade here, or I could see using the pink or the purple over the blue. In fact, let's try that. I want to give you guys a really good impression of how exactly this works. So here's that blue shade, which is called Space. I'll give you a close-up. and they are metallic. The only matte shadow in this palette is the black color, which is called Blackout. But then you could take this pink color right here, this shade shifter, Magic, and you put it over the top. Let's see if I can get a little bit more. You put it over the top, and look how it's just transformed. Now it looks purple because we've got the pink over the top. And I just think it is so cool. I don't think it could get any better than this in terms of really wanting to experiment with color and just, you know, I'm a girl, I really like a light shimmer shade on the inner half of my lid, and I think it just helps to transform whatever darker shades you're working with out here. And this palette is no different. The formula is amazing. I think, you know, the colors are very colorful. They're smooth. I wouldn't say they're buttery, but they're definitely very smooth and easy to work with, easy to blend. And if you're looking for something fun, this is definitely fun. When I watched Tiffany Dawn on YouTube use this for 5 days in a row or do 5 looks with it, I was hooked because I feel like there are endless possibilities possibly in this one. So anyhow, I think this is a great palette. The packaging is super sleek. You have a nice size mirror here. The packaging looks nice. It's sturdy in terms of you could travel with this if you want to. I think I'll definitely have some fun with this summer when I'm wearing some more brighter colors, etc. But I do recommend this, and this is my first experience with Urban Decay shadows. So look how pretty. And then the last palette, which was the palette of the week this week for me on Instagram, is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Prism palette. And I believe this was their holiday palette this year. I bought this one after I bought the Modern Renaissance because I was attracted to the shimmer shades in here. Again, I am a shimmer shadow girl, but it also caused me, if you guys will have seen the video that I posted on Monday, which was my birthday haul again, I heard that the Subculture and this one were fantastic to pair together. And this is what the palette looks like. This is your typical Modern Renaissance formula where it's very pigmented. One of my favorite shades in here is this shade Dimension. OMG. It's like a silver, running out of arm space here, silver blue gunmetal shade, and it just is gorgeous. Definitely you could see this has a little bit of micro glitter on it, but I love this. One of my favorite looks that I did, I had this darker blue shade, which is called Osiris, on the outside or 2/3 of my lid, which is what I tend to do. And then I had Dimension, that shade that I swatched for you, as a highlight on the inner part of my lid, and it just turned out gorgeous. But some of my favorite shades besides those two is this one called Lure, which is very similar to a shade in the Modern Renaissance. I can't remember what it's called, but it's, and I'm totally happy to have 2 of them, to be honest, because it's such a beautiful dusty rose. And then the other ones that stand out to me in this palette is this one here called Eden. I definitely use that one a lot. It's a warm salmon-y color. And then also this orange right here, which is called Saturn. Those two paired together, and even with this chocolate brown color called Parallel, that would do a beautiful all matte warm shade look. Let's see, make sure my finger's clean. And then the real star of this palette, which I used a lot of the days, I will admit, is this whitish shifting shade here, which is definitely more of a shadow topper than a standalone color, but it's called Lucid, and it is so beautiful. Again, you know, it's meant to go on top of other shadows, but you can see it has a really interesting shift to it. Yeah, I don't even know how to describe it, but I really love it. I ended up really liking this dark green shade. Definitely used their metallics here, and I like ABH shadows. What can I say? I have the Modern Renaissance, I have this one, and I have the Subculture, and I like them all, and I probably will buy more of these in the future. So this was the palette of the week. It was a little bit of a challenge, I will say, trying to come up with new and different combinations each day, but I like a challenge. And again, I'm looking forward to pairing this with the Subculture and seeing what I can come up with. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. It was just an idea that I came up with. I thought it would be fun to challenge and to really get to know some of my new palettes, which are all new, really, let's be honest. But to really get to know some of my palettes and push myself to come up with new and interesting looks, and just really see how many looks can I get from one eyeshadow palette in a week's time. So again, I do choose the palette of the week on Sundays, and I will post that on Instagram, and then each day as I create looks from that palette, I again post those to Instagram, and then usually at the end of the week I will put up a post with all of the looks together. So be looking out on my Instagram, again at JourneyInBeauty, and vote if you guys want to see. I usually will put a couple choices up there. That may be something where I make a list or post gifs of all of the different palettes that I have left to feature on the palette of the week. I think I may go to doing them every other week. I'm not for sure yet. You guys can let me know below how interested you are in this series. It is fun, but it is limiting me. So I only want to do this idea if you guys are really interested in seeing what I come up with. So check out Instagram and tune in next time for the palette of the week video, and like this video if you're interested, and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.